Comic Boom.
Hey guys, Comic Boom here to review Justice League issue 25. Artist Jorge Jimenez hits it out of the park. The art here is fantastic. This comic book, I'm running out of adjectives to describe comic books that I love, but this, there's lots of comic books that have a cinematic, epic feel to them, but Justice League 25 hits it out of the park, I gotta tell you. The last time I felt this cinematic feel to a comic book from the art was probably on Brian Hitch's Hawkman, when Brian Hitch was on Hawkman with Robert Venditti. But I tell you that Jimenez giving life to Scott Snyder and Scott Snyder's story in Justice League 25, absolutely fantastic, with Superman being trapped in that dark zone, trying to escape to try to help out his fellow Justice Leaguers as they're doing battle against the World Forger, who believes beyond any doubt that he's got to destroy our multiverse and recreate a new multiverse in order to defeat the forces of doom, as encapsulated by Lex Luthor resurrecting Perpetua from the breakdown of the Source Wall. All of this happening, absolutely epic. And the story that Snyder's telling about the juxtaposition between Superman and Batman, with Batman siding with the World Forger in believing that the only way to truly defeat Doom is to basically sacrifice our multiverse, to let the World Forger create another one for us so that we can defeat the forces of Doom and basically start over. And World Forger showing Batman the Batsuit that his future self built, the ultimate, the final Batsuit as he calls it, basically the Sunbox, I guess the Sunbox suit, where Batman basically utilizes that suit to help him choose which people will fight on the forces of good and which ones to kill, basically to wipe out half the multiverse in order to basically save it. So it's almost like a Thanos level type of extinction level event that the World Forger wants to create. He wants to slam down his anvil to create a new multiverse, but he can't do that until, of course, the light finally goes out. And what's the embodiment of that light? It's Superman. And this Scott Snyder did such a great job here at the beginning. It shows Superman reflecting back when he was young, reflecting back with a lesson that he learned from his father. And in particular, he has one very powerful memory of him as a father. They're sort of out camping or outside their Kansas farm. And his dad, Jonathan Kent, is trying to get him to basically light a lantern, but not use his superpowers. And basically, Superman remembers failing as a young man, as a young boy, igniting the lantern, and his father had him deal with the consequence of that. And if you don't light the lantern, then you got to get used to wallowing in the dark. And that's basically what he does here. But then the more you wallow in the dark, the more you appreciate the light. And if it's a lesson that it taught Clark Kent, at least what I got from his story, is that you got to fight for the light, and it doesn't always come easy. You got to fight for it. You got to hope. You got to have faith. And what's great about this is that as the story progresses, this long story, this was actually, I think it was a 33-page comic book. Man, but it felt so cinematic in feel, and it shows Superman never giving up. Meanwhile, the Justice League, our Justice League, is fighting their sixth-dimensional counterparts, their future selves, and they're trying to defeat them. They're having a difficult time, and Batman comes along in his Sunbox suit, and he's asking the World Forger, look, let me try to convince my fellow Justice Leaguers. Let me try to convince them. Don't just destroy them. Let me try to convince them that we have to destroy this universe in order before we create a new one. But Batman's master plan here is brilliant, because what Batman does is, you think Batman is wholly on the side of World Forger, but Batman basically fights off the Justice League, and he's trying to convince them, but they won't buy it. Wonder Woman won't budge, Flash won't budge, Green Lantern won't, because, they're fighting on the side, and they're hoping for Superman to return, but it's looking more and more bleak. And there's a wonderful phrase where finally the World Forger, just as the World Forger begins to maybe doubt that Batman's going to remain on his side, he tells Batman, he goes, make them see the light. Make them see the light. Sun Knight, my Sun Knight, make them see the light, my sunlight. And Batman, through his final Batsuit, basically creates a bright light, and as the battle rages between the Justice League of our Justice League and the Justice League of the Sixth Dimension, Batman in the Batsuit creates a massive light, and it's that beacon of light that in the imagination and in the mind of Superman, he sees those lanterns that he envisioned when he was that he recalls trying to light when he was a young man. And he flies toward that light, and as he flies toward the light, there's epic scenes beautifully illustrated by Jorge Jimenez with Superman flying through suns at beyond light speed. I mean, even light can't catch up to him. I mean, it looks like he's running. He's flying faster than even the Flash can run, and he's flying through suns, and he's becoming more and more powered up. And he starts off being completely depleted and a skinny little wrinkled up Superman that reminded me of the Superman from Flashpoint, all sort of skinny. And he finally gets powered up, and he flies at super subsonic speed toward Earth. And there's this fantastic scene where he, you know, it shows him, and you really get a sense of the legacy, because as he's flying toward World Forger, all World Forger can see at the last minute is this fist. And when this fist, just before this fist hits him, this Superman's fist hits the World Forger in the face, you see the image of that legacy of Jonathan Kent, Superman, and of course Superman's son, young John Kent, and you see the 3 generations on the page, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And that fist connects World Forger, and the impact of Superman's hit is just massive, and you could almost feel like the entire solar system felt the impact of that blow, and it incapacitates World Forger, and of course they win the day. And what's so fantastic about it, what I love about it, is Batman reveals that, in fact, he believed the World Forger. World Forger said, "Batman, why'd you betray me?" I'm paraphrasing this, but Batman just tells him, "Look, World Forger, I actually believe you." I think Batman basically says, you know, logically, you're right. The only way to defeat Doom is to create a new universe, to defeat it and destroy this one. But I always leave open the possibility for Superman to prove me wrong, for Superman to step up to the plate. And that's exactly what he did. So when Batman shone that light, and he showed that light as basically the Sun Knight, the World Forger's Sun Knight, and Batman was supposed to, according to the World Forger wanted Batman to show his fellow Justice Leaguers the light so that they could see his point of view. But when the light that he shone was seen by Superman, and it inspired Superman to fly toward that light, empowering himself by flying through those suns and coming to the rescue, incapacitating the World Forger, winning the day. But now that they've won the day, it's a temporary, Pyrrhic victory, because now they got to go back, they make it back to our universe, and what do? They got to fight the Legion of Doom, and we know what's happened in the Legion of Doom world, in our world, because we've all read Year of the Villain, and we know that Lex Luthor has sacrificed his life and in order to gain power from Perpetua, and he sold off all his financial resources to create and to make offers to various supervillains across the globe to power them up so that Doom will have a stronger foothold in our world. And in fact, it's been revealed that the Justice League they were in the 6th dimension for I believe it was about a week or longer. And during that time, there's a massive PR campaign by Lex Luthor and all the other villains, basically convincing the world that, look, you know, justice has had its chance. You know, give Doom a try. You know, being nice, embracing the better angels of your nature. Where has that really gotten you? How is that working for you? How has that worked? Disaster after disaster, crisis after crisis. Maybe it's time to let Doom have an embrace once in a while. And that time has come. And so there's a massive PR campaign, and a lot of the world is starting to maybe see the potential benefits of a Doom-like, Doom-filled world. And of course, the Justice League will have none of it, and they're going to have to step up to the plate and be on their toes as their primary villains, their rogues gallery, become massively powered up. And guys, this is really heading toward an epic conclusion. And just a couple of comments about the Batman and the Superman dichotomy here. I loved how Scott Snyder encapsulated the essence of Batman and Superman. That Batman is this logical person, but that even Batman himself can be filled with hope. And Superman even allows Batman, or Superman even inspires Batman to believe in something that goes beyond rational common sense, that goes beyond logic, because Batman is a man of science. Batman is, of course, well known to be the second smartest man in the DC universe. The first, I believe, is generally believed to be Lex Luthor. And so Batman himself is a man of science. Superman himself, while very intelligent, he's a man who is also guided a lot by faith. And I keep thinking of a dichotomy, of a difference between belief and faith. Superman is about faith, having faith in the future that goes beyond belief, that goes beyond mere belief. For example, you can change what I believe, but you can't change what I know. You can change what I believe by giving me information, but you can't change what I know in my heart. Because there's some things that are a knowing and some things that are a belief. And when it comes to Superman and Batman, Superman just seems to know things with a faith that rivals everyone, including Batman. I use the example of a person walking across a tightrope with a wheelbarrow. And a person, walking a tightrope is not necessarily that difficult. It can be done. You can walk across a tightrope. Now imagine doing it with a wheelbarrow, pushing a wheelbarrow on a tightrope and walking across the tightrope while pushing a wheelbarrow. Now, if you look up at somebody doing that, pushing a wheelbarrow on a tightrope, you can believe that they'll make it from one side to the other. You can believe that. But true faith that they can do that is if you're willing to get in the wheelbarrow. That's the difference between belief and faith. If you have faith that the person will make it, you should have no problem getting in that wheelbarrow. Let me tell you something. Batman's the type of guy that if he knows that Superman's pushing the wheelbarrow, he's going to get in the wheelbarrow. That's how powerful Superman is. Superman makes people go beyond belief and have faith. And that's the power of Superman. He's godlike. He transcends belief to become a faith in and of himself. That's what's so epic about Superman. That's what I love about the feeling what Scott Snyder pulled off in this issue. I love it. And I can't wait to see what the offers that Lex Luthor's making to all the villains, what those offers specifically are. That's going to be played out in the various issues of the DC Universe right now, the various comic books coming out in the months to follow. This is a fun time to be a DC Comics reader, guys. I had a lot of fun reading this issue. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you think of Justice League issue 25. Follow me on Twitter at Metropolis40. Hit the subscribe button. And until next time, Comic Boom, out.